Dr. Thomas Woods.
Good morning. The big problem, we better get to the root of the problem. It's the United Nations. Now, there's 190 nations that was against us, and when it started out in 48, well, their purpose was to bring us down to the level of their lowest, and that's what they have done. Now, they took us off the gold standard back there during the Depression in Roosevelt's time, and we gave away our gold to Russia. What did we get in return? We gave them our money plates back in 48, and see what we've got, that our currency, and their purpose was to bankrupt the United States. And there were a number of us people that talked against it at the time. Let's don't go into it, because how can you win one over against 190 people that want to take you down?
All right.
But then whenever there needed to be anything financed, well, we had to do it until we had become bankrupt on purpose.
And yet we've got a gold mine we've got gold mines in northwest Montana ready to be up and running, creating jobs, obviously paying taxes as well. The people who work for those companies pay taxes. And where is the government? Blocking it. Dr. Thomas Woods, stand by. I know you want to maybe remark on Mary's call, plus we got some more callers on the line at 866-6275. Left, give us your call. Well, folks, if you want to hear more of Dr. Thomas Woods and his actual video response to that AP article talking about nullification and that debate here in Montana, I just posted the video, and you can watch it right from our website, the Flint Report at northernbroadcasting.com, or go to your local radio station website. You're likely to find it there. Just click on the Flint Report. Only a few minutes left here as we've got Dr. Thomas Woods joining us on the program. Let's jump right into a quick phone call here. We've got Michael in Kalispell on line 1 listening to KJJR. Good morning, Michael.
Hey, good morning. Thank you, Dr. Woods, for spending time with us Montanans.
Glad to do it. Thank you.
Where are you at right now? Where are you in Montana?
No, I'm in Alabama for the summer, but I make my home in Topeka, Kansas.
Well, you're missing out. We got beautiful weather here today. Hey, Brian Bennett on the Voices Montana there gave a report. He said that the SPLC, Southern Poverty Law Center, identified 12 hate groups in Montana. And you know who the SPLC is. I mean,
they're horrendous, idiotic thought controllers who try to destroy people's reputations. Yeah.
They hate freedom. They hate liberty. They hate America. And whose side are they really on? Like every time the AP comes out with a report and SPLC has a leading charge in it, you go down, you look at the comments and the blogs of the people, and they're like 98% for nullification, 98% for Montanans. And every time they call Montanans evil patriots, the commentators across the country, New Hampshire, California, Texas, Minnesota, it's like 98%, 100% for the Montanans. You know, talking about nullification is just a check and balance, because the bedrock of the power system in America politically is supposed to be we, the people. And we, the people, are supposed to have a final decision. That nullification is a cute little word that people like to throw back and forth. Sounds good to some, sounds bad to others. But really, it's just checks and balance in the American political system.
But that's not to say, though, Michael, that there aren't some extremist individuals in the state of Montana that are racist and are wackos. But I think there's an attempt by the media, and we saw this by the Human Rights Network, trying to link in conservatives and talk radio folks, and link them to some radical militia member on the right, and that's what the attempt is.
Anyway, can I jump in here?
Yeah, go ahead, Dr. Woods. Yeah, Michael, good to hear from you. Dr. Woods, your thoughts?
Yeah, let me jump in. I don't know how much time we've got left, but on this, first of all, on this SPLC thing. Now, it's not to say that we shouldn't be against, the Ku Klux Klan or something. Nobody disputes that. The problem with the SPLC is they then lump perfectly normal, decent Americans who haven't got a hateful bone in their bodies in with groups like that.
Yeah.
And using this umbrella term, hate groups. And as we heard, the media will repeat this term without bothering to investigate it, using it as a brush to destroy people's careers and reputations. In other words, to shut down debate, because instead of actually having an honest exchange, they just say, well, you belong to a so-called hate group. Now, notice there are no hate groups on the left. Isn't that funny? By an amazing coincidence. So they don't, somebody like, now they have more or less left me alone up to now.
There were some pretty hateful glitter throwers that were trying to attack Michelle Bachmann in Minneapolis.
If the SPLC wrote about me, they would not say, well, Tom Woods has a degree in history from Harvard and his Ph.D. from Columbia University. He's been published by some of the most significant publishers in America. They wouldn't say that. They wouldn't. No. He's just an extremist, and they just leave it there. So they don't. These people don't want to have a real conversation. So the one assignment I want to leave with your listeners is I want your listeners to just please do this for me, because I think you will also enjoy it. Go to this website, interviewwithazombie.com. It's a site and a video that I put up showing what it's like when you try to have a substantive discussion about a controversial issue with the media. And instead of an actual media person, I have substituted a guy in a zombie costume. I've had 100,000 views of this so far.
Well, so do the major networks, so don't feel too bad. They substituted that a lot, too.
Yeah, exactly. I know. It sure would explain a lot. But this is what they do. Instead of actually engaging you, they call you names. And no matter how much substance you have in your answer, they just try to smear you out of existence. And the Internet is making it harder for them to get away with it. So please, I urge people, check out interviewwithazombie.com.
Yeah. And, of course, I mentioned Dr. Thomas Woods' response to that AP article talking about nullification debate in Montana. You can find that on the Flint Report at northernbroadcasting.com. Just a minute left. I'd like to get in several more callers, but we just don't have the time, unfortunately. But we are going to have a full hour of open phones again tomorrow where everybody can weigh in on this some more. But Dr. Thomas Woods, maybe final thought from you, something in your book that we haven't discussed yet today that people in Montana need to hear.
Well, the gist of so we've talked about my book, Nullification. The gist of my book, Rollback, is that we're facing a big crisis, but that, again, it's not enough just to think about how we can cut the budget. We have to change this whole propaganda that we've been taught since we were kids about the private sector is evil and the public sector is full of wonderful, selfless public servants who are just going to provide for the common good. And where would we be if it weren't for this agency or that department or the Federal Reserve or whatever? We'd all be dead in a ditch at the side of the road. That's what rollback is. It gives you all the ammunition you need when you're cornered like this by people on the left saying, gosh, you would ruin our society if we didn't have government as powerful as it is now. You will be able to devastate this argument. So I hope you can check that out at my site, tomwoods.com.
Dr. Thomas Woods, tomwoods.com. Thank you so much for joining us here on Voices of Montana. A pleasure having you folks. We'll be back. Full hour of open phones tomorrow.